My name is Randy Williams. I'm the founder and president of Talley and Twine watch company, and this is how I preserve the culture.
All right, man. Today we got my man Randy with us. I got the honor of personally getting to know this brother. I appreciate him in so many ways. For the people that don't know you, do you mind giving us a quick background, like where you come from?
Yeah, founder of Talley and Twine watch company and several other business ventures. But I'm really from Georgia, man. Just a country Georgia boy living in Virginia now, and a family man. And that's it, man. I just love business. I love my family, and I love the culture.
Going from Georgia, how did you find your way out to Portsmouth?
I was actually looking for a job in Georgia. I couldn't find one, but I had some relatives who had moved here to Chesapeake, and they had an extra bedroom for me, a spare bedroom. They said, why don't you come up here and stay with us for a little while? And I did, and I wound up staying for a long while.
So trying to find a job in Georgia, is that fresh out of college?
It was a few years out of college. I had already been working directly out of college and had a couple of jobs. Then I jumped into entrepreneurship after a couple of years. And then I was trying to find my way back into corporate America on a part-time basis, but nothing was working for me. The job wasn't working, the businesses weren't working, so I had to take what I could get.
So the company wasn't birthed before college, that came more or less after?
Correct. After college, I started investing in real estate during the '06 and '07 era, and started buying some houses and stuff, and really didn't know what I was doing, so I really got in over my head, so I had to deal with the fallout of that.
All right, so how did basically all of that drive you into owning your own watch company?
Yeah, all of it, I look at it like it was all a learning experience. You learn what to do. The biggest lesson that I take from that was, and I just shared this with the audience over the weekend, was you can't chase money. Like, money is a horrible motivator. It's a great tool, but it's a horrible master. And I was so focused on a dollar amount, hitting a dollar amount by a certain period of time, that it led me to make choices that I wouldn't have otherwise made. It created a false sense of urgency, and that urgency sometimes replaces your experience in that field. And there's no substitute for getting in there and putting the time and getting your experience.
Man, that's a mouthful right there. I was speaking more or less to how did you birth Talley and Twine, and between those years, because you didn't go to college for it, like, where did the inspiration for that kind of come from?
The inspiration for Talley and Twine was really like a culmination of all those failed businesses that I mentioned before. I mean, I got countless ones. So when I moved to Virginia, I was back in corporate America, and I was looking for that next thing. And the inspiration struck me one day when I was flipping through a magazine, actually. Flipping through a magazine, I think it was GQ magazine. I'm looking at a watch ad, and I realized that no watch ads have brown wrists in them, ever. I've been collecting watches at this point 5, 6, 7 years. I got a big collection, and I was like, there is no brand that speaks to the culture. There's no brand that speaks to us. There's no brand that even feels the need to acknowledge us as consumers, but I know we're spending millions, really billions of dollars for these brands. And as a result, the light bulb went off, and I decided that day to start Talley and Twine watch company. I called my wife, asked her what she thought about the idea, and she said, yeah, let's go for it.
Was it more specifically just watches? I know you were saying it was drawn from a GQ magazine and inspiration, or is it just like a whole accessories or ensembles that you want us as a culture to kind of be representative of?
I wanted to be focused on the watches themselves, because I had become enthralled with watch companies because of their longevity. Most of the household name watch brands, they're at least 50 years old. Some are 75 to 100 years old. And I wanted to build a brand that would really be around for generations. So I really wanted to focus in and try to perfect a watch and kind of get my foot in that aspect of the game. And I feel like we're just getting started with Talley and Twine.
So that kind of leads to the next thing naturally. How do you guys kind of build, or how are you focusing on building legacy-wise?
I think the biggest thing you can do to preserve your legacy is to understand that every interaction is important. There is no wasted interaction, especially when it comes to a company. In this day and age, customer service is dead. So every touch point that you get with a brand, it should be meaningful, it should be impactful, especially for smaller companies, because this can be a strategic advantage. Bigger companies can't be as personable as smaller ones. And so legacy is built in the way that you interact with your customers. And then it's also built in with what you do for your community. Talley and Twine is a community-focused brand, right? We're named after an intersection in Portsmouth. So we were founded on community. We've always given to nonprofits. And those local nonprofits, the ones that don't get the shine, they don't get the recognition in their communities, the ones that are often overlooked, they might have one founder or maybe a family is running this nonprofit, but they're actually on the ground touching those people. Those are the people that we connect ourselves with. So through nonprofits, we started our own business scholarship at our alma mater, Albany State University. We have a $10,000 business scholarship. And then we also have a giving circle here in Hampton Roads that focuses on Black-led and Black-focused nonprofits. And we recently reached a milestone of $850,000 in that endowed fund. And that's something that's going to live well beyond us. And so that's what I think of when I think about legacy.
Man, that's beautiful. In terms of just community, because you hit on that, was that a part of the blueprint? What kind of inspired that to always be community-based?
Yeah, that's part of the blueprint. I think today's consumer, maybe not as many people as there will be 20 years from now, but that's where the direction that they're heading. They want a company that does more than just sell them products. They want a company that cares about who they are as people and that cares about their community. And so when we started Talley and Twine, I had that in mind to build around something meaningful. It's more than just a transaction to make a dollar. It's more about, I want people to care and love this company as much as we do. And so we started it with that in mind.
That's perfect. Do you have any quotes that you live by more or less, or to get you through the highs and the lows, because they definitely are there?
Let's see. Quotes to get me through the highs and the lows. Only a fool is surprised by the inevitable. Only a fool is surprised by the inevitable. Going into business, you know that there are going to be highs and lows, just like there are in life, right? So when they come, we don't have to lose our shirt. We don't have to lose our head. We don't have to get discouraged or depressed. You just got to absorb it and understand that it's a part of life. Now, the learning experience and the true, I think, gratification of life comes through overcoming those obstacles. And it's not just about the obstacle, it's about who you become when you overcome that obstacle. So personal growth and development is always on the other side of obstacles. And so don't be surprised. That would be my advice to anyone. Don't be surprised by things that come your way. Be ready for them, anticipate them, and just know that this is something that I have to respond to.
What was your most unexpected high and your most unexpected low, if you don't mind me asking?
Unexpected high. I think not many of my highs were unexpected. I can't say that. Is that we really planned for them and see ourselves as bigger even now than people see us. And it takes people a while to catch up. Somebody asked me this past weekend, like, did you know Talley and Twine was going to be this successful? Did you think it would ever be this big? I was like, yeah, I was hoping that it would be. Like, that was the plan. And so we still got a long way to go in regards to that. But again, like, only a fool is surprised by the inevitable. I haven't experienced a low that I was surprised about. Not in Talley and Twine, but back when I first graduated college, starting to invest in real estate, losing multiple properties foreclosure, having my car repossessed, that was an unexpected low. Because at the time I was actually planning to kind of sleep in my car, but they came and got it that next day. So that was a really unexpected low, man. And that was a low point in my life, but I realized that when I got off of the plane in Virginia, I had $1 in my wallet. And I remember thinking to myself, man, there's really not much lower that I can go. You know, this has to be something meaningful. You know, there has to be a reason that this is happening, and try to focus on what that reason is and find it out and just do well from here forward.
So at your lowest moment, you dug deeper to kind of find out like why you was at that low moment, or did you just try to find something else? Because I know you were saying you was like involved in several other failed businesses. Like,
Yeah.
what was your mindset at in that point?
I think my mindset in that point was not to try too hard. Because I think oftentimes when we experience a failure, we feel the need to get right back that next day. We have to snap back into it and get started again. So during that time, I decided to slow down. I slowed down. I focused on the spiritual aspects of my life. And again, who I was becoming as a person and my personal growth and development. And I used that to guide me in making business decisions. So instead of looking at, oh, I can make this amount of money with this particular business, I deleted that and I started focusing on the types of businesses that I would love long term, type of things that maximize my personal skill set that I already had, and the type of things that use the experience that I already gained to my advantage. And that was one of the reasons that I landed on something like Talley and Twine.
How, well, you kind of hit on it, but how important, whether it was unconsciously or consciously, was it for your personal development to go hand in hand with your business model? Or
Yeah.
do you see the importance in that? You know, some people feel like you could separate the person versus the product. Do you agree more or less with that?
Yeah, I disagree with that. You can't separate the person from the product because they are aligned in that when you grow as an entrepreneur, you have to grow as a person, right? If you stop growing as a person, you stop growing as an entrepreneur. There are plenty of people who might experience a peak or a bump in money or exposure temporarily, but unless you've grown as a person, you're going to lose it. I heard somebody say it like this. In order to, she was like, anybody can become a millionaire, but only certain people become millionaires. The people who become millionaires will get $1 million and keep it. The person who just spontaneously became a millionaire, but they're not a millionaire at heart yet, they're bound to lose it.
Love that. If you could have anything to give or leave off with, what would you say to just anybody that is trying to start out in general or just continue on in your struggle?
I would say that in terms of entrepreneurship specifically, because that's my field, is understand that most of us haven't been taught entrepreneurship growing up. And give yourself time, be patient with yourself, allow yourself the opportunity to learn and grow as an entrepreneur. You know, think of yourself as a toddler. If this is your first business, think of yourself as a toddler and give yourself time to grow. First, you got to crawl, walk, then run, and then you still have a long way to go even after you can run, right? Because you're still an infant. And when you look at it like that, you realize that entrepreneurship is a totally new field that you need to grow and develop into. And as the years pass, and if you're consistent, you'll start seeing the fruit of that labor.
All right, and the last thing that I kind of end on, where do you gain your most current inspiration from to gain just day-to-day motivation and new ideas?
I think most of my inspiration comes from just wanting to serve others, looking at myself and my life as a servant. And what can we do to help people? Because I realize that helping others is the most rewarding thing that we can do. You know, transacting dollars is not really that exciting. It's not fulfilling. But helping others is a huge motivation. And that is something that sustains you over a longer period of time. And in addition to that, creating really gives me motivation. Because I think that we're the most godlike when we are creating something, whether it be a drawing or a painting or a watch company. You know, when you're putting things together, that is the essence of being godlike.
I love that. Well, that's all that I had for you, man. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you being the first guest with you basically being a huge factor in like the blueprint days of it. And I really wanted to highlight you because I got a chance to work with you side by side as a man. I got a chance to observe you as a human being, a father, a husband. And you really are an upstanding human being, bro. You're a humble giant.
Appreciate it.
I'm thankful to know you as a human being, as a man, and as a friend. And you definitely are a culture preserver. You add value in places that you go in. You maintain the things that God entrusts you with.
Thank you.
And man, you're just a blessing to know as a person, bro. So
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for constantly opening doors for myself and so many other people, man. I know God is gonna bless you, but that is all that we got today, and it's a wrap.
One tape ran, man. I don't fake. These folks gonna stop playing with me, man. I ain't learned yet, man. Hold on, let me make sure this is still recording.